How can the whole country, when they have an issue over titles, should be queuing up at the Ministry of Lands under the Chief Registrar to have this matter determined? It will be chaos. It will be chaos. Further, the Chief Registrar's role is usually clerical. I go and put a caveat. It is the duty of the Chief Registrar to enter it in the registry. I go and put a mortgage. It is the duty of the Chief Registrar to put it in the record and in the memorials of the title. Now you are giving the Chief Registrar, a junior officer, to determine my right that my land can be taken away by this particular officer. He is not a court. What evidence will he be using or rules to administer evidence to determine which title is genuine and which title is not? Further, if this bill passes, you are going to affect the entire financial market, because we borrow using title deeds. And when we get a title deed and deposited with a bank and the bank enters a mortgage on that property, there are only two ways in this country in which a title can be taken away. Two. One, if there was fraud proven by the court. Two, if the title was issued by mistake proven by the court. These are the two safeguards, because the same Lands and Deeds Act says title is conclusive evidence of ownership. We say he who has title has ownership. Now, if this law passes, you have all squatters now coming to queue up at the registrar, demanding that they are given an opportunity to be heard and the mother title cancelled. The definition, if you check in the same bill, it's saying any interested party. How can any interested party just wake up and say I have an interest in this particular land? In court, for you to be joined to a case, you must show your interest first, either by bringing their two titles competing, which one is the best title. Mind you, the same titles we are talking about, they are issued by the same registrar. So why would the registrar issue a fraudulent title and you are giving them an opportunity again to cancel it? In the first place, the title should never even be issued if it is fraudulent. So it means the registrar is not doing his or her job by allowing fraudulent titles to be issued. Why then give him powers to even cancel when he shouldn't have allowed that title to go out? So in short, this is a bad law. And my plea to this committee, it needs consultation. There is no agency whatsoever to do with this amendment. We have had this law from UNIP days. So there's no agency why you should be rushing to only have one amendment. In fact, I was expecting that we should be having an amendment to do with the digital licensing, digital library, digital registration of titles. Because now we have digital titles. There's no law that backs that. Those are the amendments we should be doing here. Now, you have brought one single amendment to give power to this junior officer to cancel titles. What is the mischief? Now, for argument's sake, there's an issue, there may be an area you are trying to sort out with. You cannot make law for the whole country to sort out a particular area. That is why, again, Parliament in its own wisdom passed a Lands Acquisition Act. If there is a problem at a particular area, you use the Lands Acquisition Act to acquire compulsorily that particular land which has a problem. That is why it is matter way. If you have problem in State Lodge, you have problem in Paravana, you have problem in Chongwe, you have problem in Chipata, use the Land Acquisition Act to deal with that particular issue. This looks innocent, especially members of parliament. You are politicians. This looks innocent. You differ, somebody goes and uses this to take away the right of your property. Mortgages will become expensive because banks give you money based on a title. Now, if they know that any time that title can be cancelled, they will ask you to bring insurance on top of your title. They will ask you personal guarantees on top of the title, because it can be cancelled anytime. By saying it can cancelled if it was issued by fraud. Who issued it by fraud? Who defines the fraud? Can the registrar sit and determine what fraud is? Can the registrar sit and say this title was issued, but that's the same office which issued the title? And so for me, there is no agency over this bill. We need to withdraw it and let's have a conversation. There are so many things in that bill that needs to be dealt with without literally giving the powers to the chief registrar. I may end here and take questions.
Thank you very much for your submission. May I also say that I think what we need also to clarify is the title. If you look at the cover of the bill, it says granting the powers to the chief registrar to cancel title. But if you go in depth and check, the wording is totally different. The wording inside it says granting permission to the chief registrar to cancel fraudulent or titles that have been erroneously gotten. I think we really need to stress that point. So, however, I will ask honourable members to ask points of clarifications. I'll start with Honourable Simuzingiri, then Honourable Simbao. You can come in.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Council. Council, you have indicated in your submission that there will be so much power in one person to cancel a title deed. But I think the object of this bill, there are three things that they have outlined. At what point the title must be cancelled, if there are errors. I think we are all not angels as workers. And because we are not angels, we are bound to make mistakes. Here is a typical situation, Council. I am Simuzingiri. And this title is written Simuzinguri, not Simuzingiri. Proofreading has gone through. A title is issued, and the owner gets it. And then they realize their names were omitted. We are not going to the fraud. It was misspelled. So what do you do with that title? You leave it because you cannot issue another title. Ordinarily, that title will be cancelled, and then a new title will be issued. If it's fraudulent, you did indicate how does the registrar determine or define how fraudulent it is. Is it within its, his or her jurisdiction? This is a government officer who want to believe council that for them to arrive at that fraudulent, administratively, all security wings will be involved, including police, to determine how fraudulently it was issued. And then when it is issued, there is an appeal process. It will not only end with a registrar. Somebody will have to appeal to the minister. And if the applicant still feels that the minister did not do just, they can still, proceed to the court. Like I've indicated, those processes. Don't you think that it is necessary that these powers are given, considering that what is it that they want to cure? I think in my view, Council, I am given as a government to operate, but each time there's an error on the title, go to court. Someone makes an application. Minister of Agriculture, you dubiously issued this, go to court. The question is, how do you operate as the Minister of Lands? And again, you also indicated this law was changed in, the High Court judgment was in 2014. Now, before 2014, the registrar was able to cancel until it went to court, because others were saying, how can you do this? Then there was that judgment. There you may clarify, me being not a lawyer on that aspect. Maybe you may address the issues that I've...
Okay, witness will take 3 questions at a time.
Yeah, 3 actually, Chair.
Okay. Okay, there are 3. Okay, all right. Okay, you can. Let me just allow Honorable Simbao.
Thank you, Chair. It's good you have allowed me, because maybe it's more or less similar, but I want to ask it in a different way. In the sense that, Council, personally, I don't see if anything is being changed. What is happening is maybe prolonging the whole case. I've got people in my constituency in Luansha who have had issues with land, and they've been told, go to court. And these are people who cannot afford. So what I see in this bill is that they can still go to court, but they are being given an opportunity that before you can go to court, you can go to the registrar, and if you are not satisfied with the decision that they give you, then we still continue with the way it has always been. So what I'm saying is, Council, we are not taking out anything. We are just trying to add some more before you get to court, which, in my opinion, I see the people in Luansha having an opportunity to be heard. Right now, no one can hear them. And maybe I would like to ask also like this, can you give suggestions then how we can still help the poor person in Luansha? Thank you.
Yes, witness, you can go ahead and answer those 4 questions.
Thank you, Chair. I can see I need to do a lot of clarification. So, the law as it stands today, under Section 11, when the name is misspelled, the registrar has powers to change. When there is a misdescription, the registrar has powers to change. No, not to cancel. That's what I'm saying. You have to understand the word cancel. The title still remains. But if the name is Dickson Banda instead of JERE, they go and do a new name. Those powers are still there. And that is why that court explained. Some things have been missed out, plot number missed out. The registrar has powers now under Section 11 to do all those things. The only power the registrar doesn't have, it is to cancel. Now, I'm seeing there's maybe a misunderstanding on the word cancel. When we say cancel, your title has been taken away from you. You no longer own that land. That's what cancel means in this context. It's not to cancel to change names, no. Because that is already catered for under Section 11. They take away. You are no longer the owner of this piece of land. That's what that cancel means. You have been your property has been taken away from you. That's what it means. So, there is a process of appeal which has been put in place. Now, it's interesting. That's why I said this is a very good question. And this is what has triggered me actually to come and give this submission. 80% of my practice in law, it is land law. So what happens is, the similar provision are with the Commission of Lands. We call it a re-entry. When somebody or the Commission of Lands sees your farm is not developed, he can re-entry, meaning your title is taken away, your land is taken away and given it to somebody else. So what is happening? The bulk of court cases we have, is that notices are not even given, or they are left at your farm when there's nobody. After 3 months, there was no representation, your property is taken away. After your property has been taken away, they give it to somebody else, to Mr. JERE. I become the title owner. Within a month, I subdivide that farm into 100 plots and sell to innocent people. By the time you go to court, you find that actually the people who are occupying that land are third parties. In law, we call them bona fide purchaser for value without notice, meaning the law protects their tenancy, so you won't get your property. So, why this cancellation is problematic? It has removed the court from the beginning. It has put the court at the far end. So while you are dealing with a registrar, appeal to the minister, that land would have been given to somebody else. To me. By the time we want to go to court, I've sold it to somebody else. That is a mischief which you need to reflect on. So you'll be going to court as an academic exercise because the land you are talking about is gone. But now, it can never happen because the title can never be cancelled, your land can never be taken unless there's a court order. This is serious. This is very serious, that it is a reversal. Due administratively with the people at the ministry. Now, if I go to court immediately, I get an injunction. It means that land won't be sold. There will be no subdivision. I'm protected until the matter is determined by court. So what we are doing, we are introducing a new power, to put it clearly, to the registrar to do something which the law does not allow. That's why we are here. We are saying, registrar, now take away property. So when we say cancel, we mean your land being taken away. It means your property being taken away. And that is why I have a rider. It does not even provide for compensation. In the same amendment, you've taken away my house, because when you say title, there's a house. You've taken it away. You have not provided what happens to the buildings which I've put on that land. While for the re-entry, you are saying you didn't develop. That's why we have taken away your land. Fine. Now for this one, it can be taken away because the registrar thinks you obtained the title fraudulently, you obtained the title illegally. Therefore, you lose your title, you lose your house. That's what it means. Cancellation, taking away. It is not cancellation to say, let me go and correct the names. Section 11 takes care of that.
Thank you very much, Counsel. I have...
Oh yes, there's yeah, and that was my preamble. When I began, I said Parliament, in its own wisdom, in Article 233, established a Lands Commission. If you read the second sub-article in that article, it's saying this commission should be in each and every province and progressively in each and every district, so that all poor people, all people in districts don't have to come to Lusaka. They have to deal with this commission to exactly have access, so that people can have access. And that is why my preamble was, we should be sitting here talking about an amendment, a bill which is operationalizing the Lands Commission, so that people can have access. In fact, this, how many people, everybody in 10 provinces should be coming to Lusaka to see a chief registrar? There will be chaos there. Every single case of a dispute of title at Lusaka Minister of Lands. Today, at least every province has a high court. There is also a Land Tribunal. We should be saying, how do we make a Land Tribunal to be in each and every district? And that's my plea, is that it is taking away rights, your house. And therefore, if we concentrate on 233 of the Constitution, your problem will be sorted out. There will be institutions at each and every district level to handle land issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council. Before Rubomtaya Chalo comes in, I have also two questions I want to ask you, Council. The first question, in your submission, you talked about the Lands Commission. In fact, this commission should have been by now. It should have actually been operationalized through the ISI, but however, it hasn't. I wanted to find out from you what could have actually caused this delay for this commission to be operationalized. The second question, in your submission, you mentioned about if titles are cancelled. Of course, I don't know whether you did indicate fraudulent, erroneous titles which were issued if they are cancelled. You mentioned that the financial market will actually collapse, or there will be chaos. That's a word that you use. Now, I want to find out, in an event somebody obtained title which was fraudulent, obtained or gotten from the ministry, and he goes and gets a mortgage, obtains a mortgage on a fraudulent title, how then are you going to cure this? Because monies have been exchanged. So how do you intend to cure that? I want to find out from you.
Very good question, Chair. So what happens is exactly...
Just a minute. I want to ask Honorable Katambo to come in because I've asked two questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Council, giving these powers to the Chief Registrar to cancel a certificate of title under whatever circumstances, misrepresentation or fraud or anything. And this officer is an appointed officer in that office. Don't you think there will be undue influence upon this officer? And then, Chair, in section 57A, there's an option for a person aggrieved with a decision of the registrar, the chief registrar, to cancel a certificate of title and has to appeal to the minister within 14 days. I'm a rural person, and there are issues of lands affecting our people in Masaiti. Do you think 14 days will be enough time for us to run around and do these appeals with the minister? Thank you, Chairperson.
Before you come in, witness, let me invite Honorable Member of Parliament for Wengwat, who has just joined us virtually. Honorable, can you hear us? Can you introduce us?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good afternoon, witness. My name is Michelo Kasauta, Member of Parliament for Wengwat constituency, and I belong to this committee. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you. You can go ahead and ask a question.
Thank you, Chair. I'll begin with the question on the mortgages. So, when you go to the bank to borrow money and you've signed a mortgage, the bank goes to the Ministry of Lands at the Lands and Deeds Registry to register that mortgage and put a caveat, meaning no transactions will take place on that land because of the caveat. So, if it turns out that there's an issue to do with that title, the person who's alleging fraud, the bank, the holder of the title, you are going to court to show. So the bank would be putting a case before the judge. This man owes me money. It's protected by this property. The owner will be saying, this is how I obtained the title. The one who's alleging fraud will be saying, this is what I found out. It will be a lengthy trial. Evidence being laid. At the end of the day, the judge will decide whether to cancel. So if the judge decided that to cancel the title, there will be an order on how the money will be paid to the bank. So because that's a security the bank takes, is that there's certainty in the land tenure system of Zambia. It can only be cancelled two ways by the court. That's why the bank relies on that facility of a title. It is certain. only the court can change it. So that's how the current law is. Without certainty, a bank won't risk to be getting titles which can be changed or cancelled at whim. That's where the problem is. Secondly, on the issue of registrar being given powers and their parent system. First, even the timing, 30 days, 14 days. If you look at how the High Court operates, if you are in Lusaka, I've taken out a writ of summons, it will be 14 days. But if I'm serving somebody out of Lusaka, it's 21 days. So progressively. If somebody is out of Zambia, 42 days. Why have we structured or staggered these dates? It's to take care of situations. This bill is talking about 30 days. Here is a person who's in America. You are giving him 30 days to go and appear, 14 days in which to appeal. These are realities which don't even happen in our court system. For Lusaka, we are telling you 14 days. For Copper Belt, we are telling you 21 days. Because we take into account the mail delivery, the transport, the movement, and so on. This one has just been put universally. Whether you are in Zambia, whether you are in Kaputa, whether you are in Chipata, it is 30 days, 14 days. And also, their parent system is through the minister. But the minister is the boss of the person who has made a decision. So, eventually, the minister would have consulted the same people who have made decision in arriving at this decision. Now, more seriously, registrar is a small job in terms of structure of government. The registrar is not appointed by the president. The registrar is not sworn in. Yeah? The registrar is not sworn in. So if you read why in 2016 we brought a lands commission, there was even an additional aspect that the lands commissioner must be appointed by the president, ratified by parliament, and so on, so that there is a security of tenure. The registrar has no security of tenure. I've worked in government at a higher level. I don't think that if I want to influence the registrar at the position I held, would say no. I mean, we're living in an ideal world. I don't think a registrar is capable of saying no to a person like me as special assistant to the president, let alone a permanent secretary. These are things when we're making laws we must think through. That this person can be influenced and cancel title. Now, to even add with the poor people, how many poor people are going to have access to the registrar? It is you and me who are powerful, who have access to that office. A poor person from Kaputa won't have access to the registrar. I mean, we have to be honest. So we need to protect the poor people by having the commission and having this bill deferred so that we clean up. We clean up. So when we talk about access to the poor people, the registrar will make decision. A registrar will make a decision. How are we going to see these people from Luanja? One person? These are the realities of this bill. There is no agency about them. But if Chair, I'm allowed to speculate, I can speculate. There may be an issue which this bill is trying to, or government is trying to sort out. Yeah? And I'm telling you, and if there's such a thing.
Just hold on, witness. We don't entertain speculations or assumption. We want to stick to facts. Okay, so I would urge you to stick to facts than speculating.
What's all right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So, in short, I'm saying there is no agency of this bill change because nothing has gone wrong. Don't fix something which is not broken. Don't fix something which is not broken. The re-entry process itself is problematic. People are losing land because the Commission of Land will say, I left the notice at your farm which is not developed, I therefore took away. Now we have put it here that the registrar just needs to give a notification that your title is about to be taken away. How that service is done is not clear. So you see, in court, when you serve a document, you have to file what we call an affidavit of service, where you are saying, I actually served Mr. JERE. He signed here. He is aware about these proceedings. Which doesn't happen in this procedure, because they will say, I left it at his house. If he hasn't seen the notice, tough luck, the land would have been taken away. And that's why I'm saying there is no agency. That I can tell, there is no agency. We can clean up this bill. There are so many things we need to put in this bill. All of us probably own land. We know now we are being issued with the digital title deeds. I was expecting that to be in this bill. There is now a digital registry under the registrar. I was expecting that in this bill. That now a digital title is now the authentic document, and you're supposed to have those green titles. That's what we should be discussing, Chair.
Thank you very much, Witness. I believe, and that's the reason why I think we did engage the ministry. I hear the Lands Act is actually going to be revised. So most of the things that you're actually bringing up, I'm told there will be action in the Lands Act. However, I will allow you did not answer my question when I was asking what could have caused the delay for this Lands Commission to be operationalized as SI. But let me allow Honorable Mtachalo and Honorable Member to ask two questions, that you can answer the third one.
Thank you very much, Chair. I want to thank you, Council JERE, I think for your detailed presentation. When stakeholders appear before parliamentary committee, they help us as a committee to come up to make an informed decision. You brought an interesting issue over the Supreme Court. You indicated that there was a similar matter in the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court pronounced itself over such a similar matter. Now my question is, this bill, taking into account the Supreme Court pronouncement, is it in a conflict with the Supreme Court verdict? I think that's what I wanted to know, because what we don't want is that you come up with a law and then it's open to, and people start challenging such a law in the course of law. I think that's I want to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Malambo Mwemba, Member of Parliament for Magoe constituency. And I just want you to take a little bit of time to answer my question. The traditional land is being sold by headmen and some chiefs, where titles are being secured. Here is a poor person who has got no legal representation, and the chief has issued that, yes, I've accepted, go and get a title deed. And that piece of land is secured, and the villager is being driven away from that particular area. Do you believe the current system, without the chief registrar's power to cancel this title, which is being considered to having been gotten fraudulently, without proper consultation, and a villager who had legal right to live where he buried his or her ancestors, is being told to go away simply because a rich man has bought that particular land? Do you really feel our argument here, or your submission, sir, is protecting a poor person? Remember, you legal counsels are very expensive when it comes to these issues. Now here is a poor man in Iteve village there asking for the intervention, and at the end of the day, a rich person from Lusaka gets a title deed. He goes to court to authenticate and ensure that he secures that particular title deed. where are we putting our people? Because without the intervention of a person who can simply sit down with them and see the legality on how that piece of land was secured, if we don't consider the registrar, the honorable minister, then to me it goes to the lands tribunal, where this person is not going to stand on the podium to defend. He has to be represented. You go to court, this person has to be represented. And here is a poor person who hasn't got the money to be represented. How can we proceed in this manner? I thought that we shall now start building laws that are going to be protective of our people. This is our land. This is our country. We only have one Zambia. We don't have any other Zambia. We have people who are flying all over trying to target minerals, and they are buying pieces of land, huge tracts of land, using the chiefs. Now, help me to understand how I can explain that the legal counsel came to my committee and this is what he has directed us to do, or probably proposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can go ahead and answer those three questions.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with yours. Unfortunately, I left government before this constitution came in place. But if you check our constitution, there are two commissions that have never been operationalized: the Lands Commission and the Gender Equity Commission. I don't know why. The Constitution says they establish this. They've never been established in terms of passing enabling legislation. So I think those who are in government would give the correct position why they have not done that. To Oliver Mutachalo, yes, in fact, this amendment is trying to change what the Supreme Court said. So it is, we see it as a direct change to remove what the Supreme Court has clearly put it. They explained about section, if you look at my paper, I've even quoted that particular section where they explain. Section 11, you can change, it doesn't need court order. But where two people are fighting over land, registrar, you can't. Leave that to court. And there's a reason for that, because these are contested rights. And the registrar is not a court. I will also spend a little bit of time to answer your question, because I think that's a very important question when it comes to land ownership in this country. And I have represented a number of villagers in this setup. It starts with a council, the chief, then the minutes, and the letter of recommendation is sent to Minister of Lands for this traditional land to be moved from traditional to state land. And so, the argument has been that people are forging the minutes from the council. The local people on the land are not consulted, and therefore, the Registrar and Commission of Lands work on this document that has been sent to them. They may be forged documents. The council may not even have sat. And I have an answer to that, sir. The answer does not lie in this amendment. This amendment actually disadvantages a poor person. A rich person will go and meet the registrar. Yeah? The rich person who have access to the registrar. A poor person won't have access to this registrar, who will be busy because we'll be handling a number of these cases. The solution to this lies in the administrative process. Remember, there was a time in this country that hot cars was an in thing. How did the issue of hot cars stop? When you go to RATSA to register your car, it requires you to have Interpol clearance. They won't register your car without Interpol clearance. Minister of Lands should be saying, I will not issue title without police clearance that these minutes have been authenticated from the council and the letter is genuinely coming from the chief. Because see, what this bill is trying to do is to deal with a horse which has bolted. Because the same registrar has issued the title based on fake minutes, on a fake letter. Then you want to say, I didn't check. So the issue is administrative. Let the title be issued after you have verified that those minutes came from a council which is recommended, that the letter of recommendation from the chief actually came from the chief before you issue the title. So what is happening now is that people go to the Minister of Lands, put the minutes and the letter and the title is issued without verifying whether the council really issued those minutes. In fact, beyond the minutes, the recommendation is supposed to be accompanied by a report which says people on the ground were consulted. So we should be saying that report should have even minutes and names of the people on that village who were consulted, their NRC numbers, their phone numbers, so that before title is issued, we verify. That is why the problem is that the title has been issued. Why didn't the registrar issue a title without checking whether those minutes were genuine? So, after the title has been issued, unfortunately, those poor people won't have free access to the registrar in the Lusaka. To the registrar, one person. So the rich man was trying to say that he's the one buying land. He will have access. So we need to stop the process of issuing title before verifying that there was a recommendation from the chief, from the council, and the people on the ground. This we're allowing the registrar to work on fake minutes and wait for somebody to complain, then he can reverse. No. Let's stop it the way the Interpol system works. You can't sell your car without Interpol. You can't issue a title without the police verifying the minutes from the council. That is the answer, sir. It will protect your people, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Before you ask a follow-up question, we have to be mindful because there's another witness who's waiting outside. So, however, I'll give you a chance to ask a follow-up question. Then also ask the MP for Masaiti and the Gwembe, and also I have two burning questions. So if you could maybe answer in brief so that we can have more time for us to interact. Thank you, Malambo, you can go ahead.
I'll just need a short answer from you. You are saying that it will be more expensive for people from Wanajingwala to travel to Lusaka to see the registrar than it will be expensive to meet a legal counsel. Because I will have to believe that the legal counsel, first of all, you have to ask for a consultation fee. I have to engage you. Then from there, I have to pay you for you to represent me. It's not for free. Now, which is more expensive between somebody getting a kayango from Mazabuka to come to the registrar and meet the registrar and lodge a complaint that a certain gentleman has acquired a piece of land and has gotten a title deed, and he got it without our consultation. Now, which is more expensive between the two? I will have to believe to say that what you are saying is somehow to the contrary. What is there is that it's more cheaper for someone to come to the registrar and lodge a complaint. And already as we talk now here, there are some villagers there in Chief Mwanajingwala who have brought a person at the High Court. They've been coming here for the past 3 years, traversing from there and asking resources from ourselves to contribute towards a certain piece of land that was gotten. And it is very difficult for them to proceed because they don't have money. And here is a person who has money, lives here. He just puts 200 kwacha, he's in his vehicle to go to court. So I will have to believe that you are talking to the contrary, somehow related to the same. But let me just get a proper clarity here. Which is the best alternative that we can use other than the legal way? I just want to hear your comment. Other than the legal way, before the case goes to court, because predominantly when the case goes to court, it's more expensive than it would be when I'm talking to you like this. I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Simuzingiri. I hope it will be.
Yeah, it's a short one. Counsel, I think some witnesses have submitted that in order to some extent ameliorate this challenge, maybe the registrar should have qualifications equivalent to a judge of the High Court, so that they can be this trustee, they'll have the experience required. What would be your take on this?
Thank you very much, Honorable Masaita.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Council, you've talked about your experience in land issues, representing several clients on land issues, meaning, in short, you're an expert to deal with land issues and having full of information through the Ministry of Lands. Is it your submission that the Ministry of Lands has not done due diligence to this bill, or there's never been broad or broader consultation or wider consultation to deal with this bill? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Witness, we may load you because we want to conclude. I may load you with two more questions.
Okay.
Yes. The first one is there are other stakeholders who have actually submitted and are in full support of this bill. Many of the stakeholders who have submitted, they're actually in support with this bill. So what is your comment on that one? And the other one is I want to give you a scenario of, because I heard you saying that this bill is going to disadvantage the poor person. Let me give you a scenario of this old woman who acquired a property many years ago in 1970s in Kablonga or Rhodes Park. Then somebody comes in with a forged title and a transaction takes place. The woman is thrown out of that house. 85 years old woman thrown out of the house. And you're saying we should wait for the court process when you can deal with it administratively, then you allow the appeals to go on? Because as far as I'm concerned, I have not seen the courts being removed from this whole action. Would you be in a position to tell us whether you feel that the courts are actually being taken away from this action?
I'll begin with your last answer. And that's why I started. The court has been put at the last end. What happens in between? Your property would have changed hands. Therefore, even if you win your case, you won't be able to get your property. There would have been what we call bona fide purchasers. So, the current situation is, so let's differentiate two things. A forged title is a forged title. So it doesn't fit into this, what we are discussing. A forged title is a police case dealt with. A fraudulently issued title by the registrar is what is our concern. It means it's a title which came out through the Minister of Lands, signed by the registrar. And I'm saying, why should the registrar be allowed even to reach that stage of issuing a title which is fraudulent? So it's an administrative issue we need to deal with. Why should the title be issued in the first place? That woman has a title. So who sat in the Minister of Lands to issue a fraudulent title? That is what we should be dealing with. So it's the same answer which the honorable member gave for the villagers. I'm saying the villagers should not even have to come to the registrar. They shouldn't even have to go to court. If the system is waterproof, nobody will get a title if the council minutes have been verified at the point of issuance. Because the issuing of title is where the problem is. I mean, I was hearing the president talking about they're issuing title on title. That's a problem. And that problem has nothing to do with this bill. It's a problem to do with the cancer at the ministry. That you know this land is on title. You issue another title. So that is an administrative matter. It is not a legal matter. It's not a legal matter. It's an administrative matter. Let's clean up the registry. That nobody can issue a title on a title. And if that title you said that it was issued area title or area registration takes precedence than the one which comes later. That's the law. I hope so on the issue of the registrar, I agree. But we've had Commission of Lands who have been lawyers, senior at the bar. I don't want to mention them. We know what eventually happened when they leave office. You cannot entrust such a powerful thing like alienating land, cancelling title to one individual. They must. Even the army commander, there is the defense council. Bank of Zambia governor, there's a board. ZRA, there's a board. So, these are even dealing with sectorial issue. Land is what constitutes Zambia. So this person who's giving land to a foreigner, to whatever, he needs to have some safeguard. And that is why the Constitution is saying the commission. And that commission is supposed to be in each and every district so that all those people can have access. A registrar is one person. Even me, who knows my way at the Ministry of Land, to have an appointment with the Commission of Land is hell. Is hell. Under the current system, to go and see a Commission of Land, it's hell. I'm a lawyer. What about an ordinary person just to get an appointment to see? So I'm thinking about the poor. I know how those officers operate. How many will be queuing up from Kaputa or whatever to see the registrar over this thing? So I'm the one thinking about the poor, sir, because I interact with those corridors. I will walk in while the poor woman is waiting. Another person with a tie will walk in while that poor woman is waiting. So let's not create an impression that this registrar will be super efficient. Everybody will be walking in and sorting out the issues. No. Today the courts, we have over 50 judges spread across one during this case. They take long. What about an individual? I submit.
Thank you very much. I think we've come to the end of our interaction witness.
If you may allow just to answer the last question, which I didn't.
Okay.
You said just the majority have submitted in favor. For me, sir, it's not about whether it's a majority. It is about the principle that what I have said, if this bill passes, we will one day meet in different sectors and we are going to discuss it. People will lose land and we will discuss it. And that I can tell you. It's a bad law.
Okay, thank you very much. Your concluding remarks?
My concluding remarks is to ask this committee, this is a very important committee, that there's no hurry in this bill. We can defer it for more consultations. The fact that I'm raising all these issues, the fact that I've read several these, it means the consultation was not done. What we should be doing here, we should be saying, why are councils issuing land minutes in a wrong way? Why can't, so that should have been now the basis of the consultation. So I'm urging or pleading with this committee that let's defer it even to the September session so that we have a little bit of a breather to look at why are these titles being issued in the first place. Huh? Why are they being issued in the first place, which we want them cancelled? It means the administrative process, there is a problem. We don't deal administrative problem with an amendment to the law. The law is okay the way it is. I submit.
Thank you very much, witness. When we actually began our meeting, we conferred you with immunity, and that's the reason why you were able to express yourself nicely like this. But however, we can now withdraw that immunity so that whatever you go and say outside there, you'll be able to answer it for yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being with us on Parliament Television. You've just been watching the Committee on Agriculture, Lands and Natural Resources, and the witness was Mr. DICKSON JERE, who is a legal practitioner appearing this committee as they continue considering the Lands and Deeds Registry Amendment Bill National Assembly Bill number 13 of 2024. We still have two more witnesses to appear before this committee. We'll have Mr. George Chisanga, MP, who is also a legal practitioner, and we expect to conclude the day with the Law Association of Zambia. My name is Paulson Tindovi. I do have Jason Manda and Chola Kaoma as our two sign language interpreters. For now, we take a short break. Once the committee reconvenes, we'll be able to cross over as they interact with the next witness. And seems like we do have the next witness ready now, and this is Mr. George Chisenga, MP. He is a legal practitioner as well. Remember, this committee, the Lands and Agriculture, Lands and Natural Resources, is considering the Lands and Deeds Registry Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 13 of 2024. We now cross over